Hi, my name is V. I am an acupuncturist and healing facilitator. Today I want to talk to you about tending to the inner garden. Tending to the inner garden is a weekly healing circle. We meet at Self Place in the city of Sunrise in South Florida, and we meet with the intention to heal. So, what is healing? I have two definitions for healing. I have the clinical definition, which is simple, that healing is what works. I've been working with patients for, I think, a good 18 years now, maybe more. And I've had a front row seat at witnessing the human condition, witnessing our illnesses, witnessing our wounds, and also witnessing our healing. And so clinically for me is healing is what works. So we live at a time where everything is polarized, including medicine. And so I have made a conscious decision not to participate in the polarization, especially in the polarization of medicine. So I feel like the medicine of the future will be circular. There will be beautiful bridges that are built between the different modalities, and that we can work together and it will be beneficial for the patient. And so I've witnessed people that maybe could have benefited from certain modalities and didn't because of strong beliefs, because and it goes both ways. Maybe someone really could benefit from actual prescription medication, and they might say, well, I don't take medications, I don't take drugs, I don't like doctors. And then maybe someone could have greatly benefited from natural medicine, and they'll say, well, I don't believe in natural medicine. It's not a religion, and so it's medicine. Our body will respond to what it needs, to what works. So you might have a case where really the appropriate thing is allopathic intervention. So it would be negligent to not go that route. And for most things, I'm biased, but for most things, natural medicine is highly effective. And so it's highly negligent when we've had like thousands of years of proof that natural medicine works, and that medical doctors are still discouraging patients from going the natural route when we have actual licensed, board certified natural doctors that have been helping patients day in, day out, just like the medical doctors. And then because people place their trust in their doctors, so if the doctors say don't go that route and they don't go that route, and I think it's negligent. I think we have enough information at our disposal to be able to make more informed, educated choices. And so for me is this working? If it's not working, then let's make a different choice. Let's do what works. And so it's very simple, and it also it helped me a lot in my own life, and then it has helped the people that I've had a chance to work with, because sometimes we even argue for things that are not working for us. I remember when I used to be on the radio, there was a caller who used to call me every week challenging me on diabetes. And it wasn't even a condition that I was talking about that much, but he wanted to challenge me and he wanted to challenge natural medicine. And so every week I would answer him. And then consequently, every week people with diabetes would come to see me. And then I started really helping people with diabetes and getting amazing results. And so finally one week he called, and I said, well, if you're calling every week challenging me. It's either you are a patient or you are a healthcare professional. So if you are a patient and you're probably frustrated, you haven't been getting the results that you wanted, and so you're thinking, well, if this is not working for me, no one else, nothing will work for others, and there may be this certain level of frustration. And so if you're a patient, give me a call, I'll treat you. And if you're a healthcare professional, then maybe I have knowledge that you don't have. So if you're calling every week like this, it's clearly you don't think that this condition can be treated, and that there are effective natural approaches for it. So if you're a healthcare professional, give me a call, I'll teach you. So either way, give me a call, I'll treat you or I'll teach you. And then he stopped calling. But consequently, I ended up having an influx of patients with diabetes, and I was able to help them. So if it wasn't for that guy, I probably would not have this whole career path that was connected to helping patients with diabetes. And so it's really like what's working. And when I was working with patients with diabetes, it's like, is this protocol working? And so if your glucose is still high and you're having neuropathy and you're at risk of losing your vision and you're at risk of kidney failure, or you already have kidney failure, like, it hasn't been working. So let's do something that's working. And so just based on that simple premise, I was able to help a lot of people. And then my second definition for healing is more spiritual. Is healing is a return to self. And it's a return to our authentic self. So oftentimes things happen that actually would cause us to disconnect from ourselves. And then we start developing chronic health conditions. And so the true healing the root cause, would be doing the trauma healing work to reconnect to self. And so again, working with patients with diabetes, I was getting like amazing clinical results with patients, but it was hard for them to stick to the program. So maybe someone would get results, and then after 2 months or 3 months or 6 months or a year, they would go right back to where they were before. And I started attuning more to the patients and sensing that, oh, there's something else underneath that. And when I would start asking questions and talking to the patients, then for almost everyone, there was some type of trauma that happened, either at the onset of the disease or around the time of the diagnosis. It could be that, oh, I was going through a divorce and it was a very stressful time, or my mother died, or my child was sick, or I lost my job, or I had this stressful job. And so I began to see the trauma, because what I love with Chinese medicine is that we treat the root cause of different health conditions, or of all health conditions. Because we're really working at what is out of balance in the body and treating the root cause. And so, but I began to see that beyond the typical root causes, there was another deeper cause, which was like this trauma that happened. And so I got interested in trauma healing. And so tending to the inner garden is part of that trauma healing work and part of that spiritual work to help myself and to help others to reconnect to self, return to self. And it's a daily tending, so that's why I include myself. I'm tending every day, every moment, every minute that something comes up. If I can tend to it, I tend to it. And so the goal is to get you to get into the practice of being with what is showing up, and also being confident that because we have this our soul's true light, our essence, because it is highly intelligent, when we start reconnecting and inviting our light, inviting our essence into these deeply wounded spaces of our being, that healing is possible, healing is probable, healing is inevitable. I like working with the inevitable. I like to do things that are inevitable. So we know that if, like, for example, if you wake up every day and you work out, weight loss is inevitable. If you eat a certain way, like, let's say, like for patients with diabetes, the eating plan that I would give to my patients, if they eat that way and they stick to it, then the management of glucose, the reduction of glucose, it's inevitable. So I actually love working with things that I know, like if I do this every day, it's inevitable. So if every day we show up and we turn within and we connect with our soul's true light, with our essence, and we connect with the intention to heal, that things will come up. Things that are ready to be felt, to be integrated, to be healed, they will come up. And then we get to use different tools. So my tools that I think are connected to my essence, to my authentic self, to my unique soul signature, are compassion, love, and invoking grace and mercy, connecting with God, with the divine, and tapping into the frequency of grace, of mercy. And so when we connect to those frequencies, when we have compassion for ourselves, compassion for one another, when we are invoking love, when we are invoking grace, grace is the divine quality that says, come exactly as you are. So when we create the container and we invite the grace of the divine to be present, what's required is for us to come as we are, the truth of who we are, the truth of our anger, of our rage, of our resentment, of our sadness, of our regrets, our remorse, like all those things we want to hide from ourselves, from the world. That in the tending to the inner garden, in that circle, it is safe to connect to these aspects of ourselves. And there's so much grace that there's no judgment, and that we get to allow whatever's ready to be healed to come to the circle and connect. And then we have other aspects of ourselves that we hide from ourselves, from others, that we hide from the divine, because we have hurt others, we have wounded others, and we have willingly disconnected from our light. And so for those types of wounds, I connect to the frequency of mercy, where we know that mercy is really that true return to self. Mercy is the divine waiting for us, arms wide open, but we have to come. We have to make the U-turn. We have to choose the path. We have to choose the light. We have to choose that authentic self, that soul's essence. And so when I'm facilitating and I'm invoking grace, I'm invoking mercy, I'm just reminding you to use your will, use your power of choice, the same way you use your will to disconnect, to hurt another. Use that will and come back home, come back home, prodigal child. I love the story of the prodigal child in the Bible. It's my favorite story. And I always identified with the prodigal son, never with the brother that stayed and that was resentful that the prodigal son got to have mercy. And then when I started talking to some of my friends, and I realized, oh my God, some people actually relate to the brother that stayed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, for me, it's always the prodigal son. So I feel like God loves us so much. Like, we are so loved that all we have to do is return home. So in the story of the prodigal son had to make the decision to say, I will return to my father's house. And so anytime we could see that this is not working, the way I'm eating, this resentment, this drama, the fights in my relationship, whatever it is, and we're like, okay, this is not working. And then usually it requires a return, and the return is like this decision of like, I will return to my father's house. And then there's mercy, so much mercy, just waiting, and it's so healing. And so we get to connect to that, and then when we're working with God, anything is possible. A miracle is possible, and it's not up to us what gets healed. But then we can show up every day. We can show up and have compassion for ourselves, have compassion for one another, connect to grace, connect to mercy. And that's the essence of my work, and peace. And then as a result, I think peace is a consequence of doing this work. So as a result, we get to have peace. And, if you've been paying attention, we haven't had a peaceful world. At any given point, there's conflict happening somewhere in the planet. And so for me, this is also my contribution to planetary healing, whether it's just me alone or whoever shows up, whether it's one person, 3 people, 100 people or more, we can do this work. And when we do it, we are truly contributing to society. So each time we show up more peacefully in our relationships, we are contributing to world peace. And so if you have been feeling down or anxious, fearful, and disconnected, isolated, this is also a space to come and to have that connection. So I invite you to join us to the Tending to the Inner Garden at Self Place. We are at 9010 West Commercial Boulevard every Monday at 7 p.m. However, I would love for you to pre-register. So when you go on Eventbrite, if you put Sunrise, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and type Tending to the Inner Garden, you'll see my picture, and you'll see the ad with my picture, and you can click and register, and I will include the link. Wherever this video is shared, I will also include the link. And if you are on IG, I think this is too long for IG anyway, but if you go to my IG, I have a link tree in my bio. So when you click on it, it shows you various links. So you'll see the link for Tending to the Inner Garden. You'll also see the link for the clinic. If you would like to work with me clinically, I would love to work with you. I treat various health conditions, not just diabetes. Diabetes was just a perfect example for what I was sharing tonight. And so I really work with working with the human body, working with who you are, the person that is in front of me, and seeing in what ways can we address the root causes that are contributing to health concerns. So I look forward to connecting with you, to working with you in whatever capacity that we can work together. Eventually, I will offer this online as well. I will do tending to the inner garden via Zoom. So stay connected, and I will let you know what is coming up next. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful evening or morning, whenever you're watching. I'm recording this in the evening. I'm recording this on a Monday night, right before attending to the inner garden. So looking forward to seeing you soon, to seeing you in person, to healing together, to hugging, and to witnessing each other. Take care.